you're in Poland at the moment, but you were just in New
Yeah.
Zealand a few days ago. How did you manage to get from one place to the other in all this stuff going on?
Yeah, it's been hard. I had a flight booked for early March to do a few gigs in Europe, and I've got a girlfriend in Poland. She was with me in New Zealand in January, and then I was gonna meet her in Poland. So because of the virus, because of the lockdown, I couldn't really go back to Poland. So yeah, it took a while, but the flight was pretty easy. It wasn't as busy as always, but I've managed to do it. There was no quarantine. There's no quarantine here.
Oh, good.
And I'm trying to isolate myself as much as I can, and stay, trying to stay at home. But it's all good. It seems normal almost. So yeah, but I live between Poland and New Zealand, so I've done it. And for the last 4 years, I've been traveling between New Zealand and Europe and Poland.
Right.
But yeah, I'm based in New Zealand. I've lived there for 15 years. I'm just like, I love playing music, and Europe's just a bit bigger and a bit more opportunities to do jazz, live jazz. So that's the reason.
So why New Zealand? Why did you go from Poland to New Zealand?
That's my family moved to New Zealand. 16 years ago, and we wanted to travel. My dad is an artist as well, and he always wanted to travel, and we just moved to New Zealand one day, and that was a great decision, and we all loved it, and we still do. My parents moved to Australia last year, so they kept going, and my brother is still in New Zealand. We just love traveling.
Right. So what's the vibe like in Poland? If I'm not mistaken, the current president of Poland has the same last name as me, which is Duda.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, he just got elected again.
Yeah.
I was voting, differently, but I guess that's what it is.
I hear he's very right wing.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, but that's cool. I'm not really into politics so much. I do my music and trying to stay away.
Right. Fair enough. So what's it like as a musician, especially a jazz musician, moving from Poland to Auckland or New Zealand and back and forth again? Is it stimulating?
Traveling is always stimulating. I like it, and it was tough at the beginning. I just needed, to meet all the people, get in a circle. But I'm pretty good with people, and I went out a few times. I went, tried to check all the jam sessions in town in Auckland. I remember London Bar was one of the first venues. I think there's a restaurant now, but corner of Queen Street, London Bar, Rakinos. So I checked those places, and Kevin Field was playing at Rakinos every Sunday with Ron Sampson. So the usual suspects, the uni tutors. So I got in the circle quite easy. So it was cool, I was started to hang out with them, and I went to uni after a year. So it was cool. But it's obviously it's not as big as Europe. So it's Auckland, Wellington, I guess, But that was the thing, like I just needed to move and adapt, and I did. So all good.
Right. So did you find the scene here fairly accepting? Were they quite happy to have you become part of?
Oh yeah, yes. Very friendly, yeah. As you know, New Zealanders are super friendly, so they, open up, and they invited me to come to jam, and they invited me to come to uni. So that wasn't a problem as well, and that was easy transition.
So from a musical point of view, is there a difference between coming from such a European place and then moving to someplace in the South Pacific as far as the view of how to approach jazz?
I guess so, yeah. I feel there's a mixture in New Zealand, a mixture of different styles. And Poland jazz is still strict, jazz. There's a lot of free jazz and bebop and obviously, different types of music. But I feel like in Auckland, New Zealand, people mix everything. So, they play jazz, but not necessarily bebop. And there's not so much a jazz standard scene. It's a mixture of grooves and hip hop, and which I loved as well, because my first album was Odyssey, and we called ourselves After Hours. So it's a mixture of Nathan Haines playing on it. We play some jazz, but there's heaps of grooves. Charlene Hector, and I feel that's mainly influenced by New Zealand vibe. So I'm actually happy that happened, and that, you know, mixed everything together. You know?
Right. But for yourself, what drew you to jazz?
Just from the beginning, you mean, when I
Yeah.
was younger?
Yeah.
Well, my dad had heaps of music. He always plays CDs. I remember one of my first presents from him was CDs as well. We used to go up shopping for CDs, and I fell in love with Pat Metheny group with Lilo Mays, and he had heaps of DVD concerts. So just music all the time. And then my granddad was a concert pianist as well. So they lived downstairs from us, and he had a piano.
Right.
So you know, I was just hanging out around the piano and just, you know, trying to play from early age. And then I went to school when I was 7 or something. And I remember I was playing piano before I could even, you know, start school. So I started early. Yeah, it's just music, you know, just surrounded us.
So easy. It just comes natural to you?
Yes, I think so. Yeah, I can't imagine, you know, not having music in my life. It was always there since before I remember. So, yeah.
Right. So what's the jazz scene like, and whereabouts in Poland are you?
I'm in Szczecin. It's my hometown, actually, when I was born. I met my girlfriend here, and it's like 1.5 hour drive from Berlin. I can actually show you if you can see.
Okay. Oh, yeah, there. It looks very quiet.
Our people, it's at work, I guess. But beautiful weather. It's a beautiful city, and I mean, it's not the biggest city for jazz, but there's a jazz club that opened up last year, and they just bought a grand piano there this year. So I went yesterday just to practice, and you know, I've got a few gigs coming up. So it's cool. Yeah.
So how do you manage having gigs, and like you just did a couple of gigs here in Auckland, and now you're suddenly in Poland doing the same thing? Yeah. Do you have people working for you, or are you handling it all yourself?
I wish I had someone. You know, it's hard. I mean, jazz, you know, it's you just have to hustle. And I just tell people I have to hustle in Auckland and New Zealand, and it doesn't really matter if I hustle there or here, because it's not like, you know, it's a constant work. You just have to look for gigs, and so I just come here and do the same. Send emails. You know, having an album, it's always nice. Some reviews, you know, videos, everything. You know, you just keep sending emails, and then eventually someone comes back, and you know. And you go to a gig. So it's tough, but you know, I just do it, and you know, I'm used to it. So I spend a lot of time hassling and sending emails that you never get.
Good times.
You know, never hear back from. Yeah, you know. Yeah.
So music-wise, how does the fact that you have these two different bases affect what you play on stage, from Poland to New Zealand?
Well, I think it's cool, you know, because you know, people are always excited if you're from a different country or something. So I come from Auckland, and I got those different vibes, you know. I come up with different ideas, choices, and it's the same when I come from Europe. You know, they always say, "Whoa, man, you go better," because you know, I'm here and I want to get better. You know, I still want to practice and I want to get inspired. You know, there's a lot of great musicians here, so I always work hard and try to, you know, stay in the game. So I think for me it's very refreshing and inspiring to actually travel a lot. And I know Nathan Haines, he's done it for many years, and I think it works great because, you know, I make an album. I'm working on a new album right now. I got a little funding here in my hometown, which will help a little bit. Yeah. And you're always inspired to do something new, you know, because there's new musicians, new ideas. You check new music, you know. If you stay in one place, maybe, you know, it's harder to get inspired all the time. So for me, it works great. And yeah, I'm just working on a new album, and I've got Nathan Haines involved, some people in New Zealand, some people in Poland. So it's just going to be a mixture of everything. Yeah.
So how does that work? Because I mean, jazz is kind of thought of as a group of musicians sitting in a room playing together.
Live, yeah.
So how are you making that work?
So this is going to be a bit different. So I've done 2 jazz albums that I've recorded live in the studio, and this one is going to be more beats and more production, and yeah, we're just working remotely from different countries. So I started it with my friend in Poland. Now Nathan Haines helped me with production on one of the tracks. I sent a couple of tracks to UK to Mike Patel, who's an amazing producer, works with real people and incognito, and so he's working on a few tracks. So it's more like, you know, just beats going back and forward. Like, okay, I like this, I don't like this, but having those amazing guys it's always, you know, a good thing. So usually something nice comes back. So it's just gonna be a bit different. I want DJs to start playing out my music, maybe, you know, just still doing jazz kind of, but having jazz fans still there, hopefully happy. But yeah, just trying to head a different people and see what happens. More club music as well. Yeah,
I can imagine when you're trying to kind of push the envelope a little bit, you risk losing people who are already comfortable with what you do. Do you worry about that?
No, I don't. I was thinking about it, and I was thinking about changing my name, maybe having a different name for this project or something. But I think it's all music that comes from, you know, from me. And I think if people like what I'm doing, it's kind of it's not really completely different. It's still my harmony, my take on music, you know. Plus, you know, like, you want to be fresh and you want to do new things. So I don't want to be doing the same albums all the time. I want to, you know, if those people trust me and they like my music, maybe they'll like something else, you know. I look at it that way.
So how did you get hooked up with Nathan? And you also had Dixon, Nacey playing with you.
Dixon, yeah.
Yeah, so...
Well, you know, they're all teachers at university. I met them at the uni in Auckland. So, yeah. Nathan was taking a combo and he liked my playing from, you know, and then he invited me to his house, to his home studio, and we started making music really early when we met, and we still do. So Dixon is another teacher that was taking my combo. So yeah, it's lucky that I went to uni and I met all those guys there.
Yeah. And do you guys actually talk about what you're playing and how you're approaching what you're doing, or you just sit down and play?
You know, trying to be professional, always send them all the charts, all the music.
Right.
Well, this time we were playing my album, so that was the Resonate, the latest album. So I just sent music and the charts and to Dixon and Nathan, and I said, you know, you guys want to play this? And they said, of course, that we love it, and they've learned everything. We had one rehearsal, and yeah, we played. So I was just playing, you know, this project which was already written. And but I hope we can do something together as well when we all more creative and we can, you know, make music together on the spot, have more rehearsals.
And how do you find jazz fans in Auckland? Are they? Is it a different type of vibe playing in front of them as opposed to where you're playing in Poland?
I think it's always a little bit different, but I think it's growing all the time. And the venue, the Possibly Social Club, I've done 3 gigs or 4 gigs in the past month, and it was amazing. People were just, you know, like really into it, and I love people staying after the gig and talking and asking about the tunes or whatever, you know, like, just, you know, we want people to respond to it, not just be there. And you know, it's different, it's smaller, it's a different, it's young culture, you know. I guess there's not that much jazz, and it's still new to many people maybe, but I love playing in Auckland. I just wish we could play even more, you know. I wish there would be more places and jazz clubs. So but we can do it. We'll try to do it, you know. We are, you know, the guys will hopefully got the power to you know, bring more people into it. And
right. So you got to be one of the few musicians who are actually flying internationally and being able to go from one place to the other. How does that make you feel?
Oh, you know, like, I mean, yeah, I don't think about it that way. You know, I just still got friends here, family, you know, girlfriend, and I want to bring my girlfriend to New Zealand. We're thinking about moving up permanently, but I think we're still gonna travel all the time. You know, it's nice to travel. I love that. You know, I don't have kids, a stable job or nothing like that. So why not? You know, I think this is the time to do it. Yeah.
So how long are you in Poland for?
Well, definitely till end of year, till December. But I hope that the quarantine, they're gonna, you know, because I don't want to be coming back without my girlfriend anymore. And and I know now it's hard to bring people with don't have New Zealand passports. So if that, as soon as that changes, then we're gonna come back. And I've got some gigs in summer already in New Zealand, so I'm hoping to be back.
So you got plans?
Late December. Yeah, but you know, like I told everyone, that we'll have to see what's happening with the COVID. situation, because I've got gigs booked, but I'm not 100% if I can do them because because of the COVID and stuff. So we'll see.
It must be very frustrating for a musician like yourself who's traveling around the world and playing with different people to have that kind of thing happening where it's keeping you from doing what you want. Do you talk to other musicians about the situation?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's hard for everyone, and it's tough, and everyone's hoping, get back to normal. And I've got a few friends in the States, and it's been really tough. They've just been starting doing some gigs, and in Poland, it's better, but it's still nothing like it's been, But summer is always quieter, so everyone's hoping that this September, November will start really full on, and hopefully people will be hungry music. Like in Auckland, I've done, I don't know, maybe 10 gigs in 1 month,
right?
And most of them were sold out after the lockdown. So,
yeah.
So I hope that's going to happen here, and we can keep doing what we do.
Yeah. I mean, I've been to quite a few gigs since the lockdown ended here, and that's the vibe I got, is like everybody's just happy to be there. In a room with a musician playing, it makes a big difference. It's just like you don't realize that you miss it until it's gone.
Yes. I know. I just want to get back on stage and play music, But in saying that, I still work at home. I practice. I write music. I've got my album production. I'm doing some mixes.
Right.
So I've got stuff to do, But I love playing live, and I hope we can just get back to normal soon.
So the album that you're working on, what do you see happening with that? Do you have any plans as far as it's going to be out here and we're going to do this here?
Well, I really wanted to have some vinyl this time as well. It will be EP. I'll obviously put it out there on Spotify or the drink portals. Maybe get a PR person in the UK where someone to push it, and obviously I can send all the emails in Auckland and Poland and try to get some interest. But it's hard these days. I'm not really hoping that that's gonna explode into something amazing. I'm just doing it because I believe it's a good music, and we'll see what happens. But I always try my best to put it out there. But
right. Is it recorded already, or are you still working on it?
There's most of the stuff is recorded, but I'm working on production, so it's changing all the time, and and there'll be still a lot of mixing and post-production stuff. So getting everything mastered, make the cover for the album, wait for the vinyl. So it is a process, but it's fun process.
It must be interesting being a kind of international musician in this scenario. You're kind of in unknown territory. Nobody really knows how everything is going to go. Does that weigh upon you?
Oh, I know, yeah. Well, yeah, a little bit, but still, I still do music no matter what. Even if it's just me in the room playing music or just jamming with friends, and so I mean, still, I'm thinking about other. I have to make money somehow. So thinking about other things. What else can I do? But music is music, and I'll keep doing it.
Yeah. So is there like how many places are there for you to play where you're at?
Well, there's in Szczecin, maybe there's one jazz club. There's two places where they play jazz on a regular basis during the week as well, jam session. Maybe not as much in summer, but there's Poland is just heaps of cities, so I'm not really playing that much here in my hometown. I just get in a bus or on a plane or whatever. Europe, everything's so close, so I will try to book some gigs and overseas. No, overseas, sorry, Germany. So maybe Prague or something. It's everything is close. It's a few hours drive. So.
Yeah.
So we'll see, but there's definitely a lot of options.
Oh, that's good to hear. Well, I appreciate you coming all this way to talk to me.
Oh man, I wanted to talk to you, to meet you, and thanks for having me. Definitely.
Hey, and so you think you're gonna be back here by the end of the year?
Yeah, well, I plan to. Yeah, I've got gigs, but we'll just see. Like if the COVID situation is not good, if I have to do the quarantine for 2 weeks that I have to pay for, I'll have to think about it.
Yeah, definitely.
But I want to come, and I've got friends and gigs waiting. But I don't want to leave my girlfriend
Yeah.
in Poland for too long because we want to be
Fair
together.
enough.
So we'll see. Yeah,
That's
it's tough
amazing.
one. I haven't seen her for almost 6 months because
Oh
of the
my
lockdown,
God.
and
Yeah.
we didn't plan that long. So
Nobody
hopefully that
saw it
won't happen
coming.
again. Yeah,
Well, thank you for taking time to talk to me. Hope everything goes
awesome.
well over there. We look for the new album, and we'll look for you here in a few months.
Thank you.